All right, let's see if we can get a little bit more of this Trimet board meeting done.
Are at the line level appear to be negative, but given our system level policy and the way in which we assess these impacts, there is no adverse impacts. So therefore, it does not require modification.
Yeah. Yeah, this bullshit, this service equity analysis. It has no disparate impact. We hereby declare there is no impact. We, the technocrats of Trimet, all of us making six-figure salaries, declare that the poor people are not suffering.
The proposed changes.
Yeah. And we have we have black people to make sure, to say that, to make sure that, this is what they do. They put the classes of people that are affected in the positions to say, give the bad news to the huddled masses who are getting screwed by these technocrats. Put a woman as Fed chair. Oh, look, it's the first woman who's ever been treasurer. It doesn't matter that she's corrupt as hell. She's a woman, so just look at that.
So as far as next steps goes, today we're presenting as far as the first Trimet board reading and the public hearing. Second, February 12th, that's when we close the public comment on my Title VI analysis. And then
Does anybody even know that there's a comment period on the Title VI analysis? I haven't heard anything about it. And guess what? I look at this shit every fucking day. Okay. I'm probably the only person in the world that does that, other than these people that are getting paid to do it. But of course, they're wrapped up in their elite bubbles. They're not looking at. I'm part of the serf population. They're all doing their elite shit. I didn't know there was any comment on this. Where's it published? They certainly don't make it known, do they? They have yet to use social media to announce their board meetings. Did they? No, they didn't. Did they? Did they do it last time? No, they didn't. They didn't announce it on social media, but they did actually have the meeting online live with a chat box, which just shocked the hell out of me that they did that. Of course, the only two people chatting were me and Pootie. And then they took the comments down. Then they put the comments back. And then they forgot to put on the first 25 minutes of the public testimony. I mean, it's so much fun messing with these people. They mess with me. I mess with them. Mess with me. Back and forth. Back and forth. It's fun. I'm having a ball.
We'll move forward with the second board reading, where the board has been made aware and will consider and approve the Title VI analysis before the agency moves forward. So before I pass it back over to Tom, I would like to open up the floor if there's any questions from the board.
Thank you, both of you. Tom, did you have any further comments before I got into the board questions?
I just have one more slide, but it's an add-on to this presentation. It's kind of an FYI, so it's not part of the ordinance. If we can do that real quick, if you'd like.
Come on.
Well, I'll just so Carl, when I look at this, you're going to be getting comments back by February 12th, and then we'll hear those comments and any changes or recommendations based on what you hear before we take action on this ordinance on February 24th. Is that what I hear? Your process?
That's correct, President Warner.
All right. Thank you. Other comments or questions by the board, maybe right now, and then we'll get right back to you, Tom.
So let's see. What is it?
Hey, I see it. Yes. Director Wade. The Director Wade raised her hand. I'm picking her up first here.
What do I got here, man?
Okay, so my question is, sorry, are we asking general questions now?
You can ask whatever question you want.
Great. Okay. So this is a question for Tom. Again, I thank both of you for bringing back this to us as a board. Really appreciate that there's going to be additional public input and public comment on this.
Yeah, right. Nobody knows it's happening,
you have
including me.
That, when the pandemic started, right, that it seemed like the level of outreach that you had maybe intended or hoped to do did not really come to fruition because all of us were dealing with a pandemic. Can you explain as to how your team...
No, we were dealing with government reaction to the pandemic. It was all of this stuff is happening because of government action, not because of the pandemic. Okay, we don't need to get into that right now, but everything that's happening is as a result of government action. And government, what has government done? It's given all the money to the billionaire class and cut your transit service 80% and then 90%. So they get trillions, you get your transit service cut, and that's the way it goes because America, man, did it free.
Or just how did you, were there any innovative or creative outreach solutions that you implemented?
Right. No.
Can you explain what you did in the 6 months that people
Good for
were
you, Kathy.
Struggling with outreach in terms of how you did get engagement?
Yeah, good for you.
Yes, I can actually. So I will say for these service changes, they were, we were in such a race that unfortunately we weren't innovative, but we have been innovative.
Aha! We were in such a race. Everything got cut, but your goddamn salary. If you're going to cut services by 10%, how about cutting your salary sitting at home 10%? How about that, huh? How about increasing the drivers who are in the middle of this shit 10%, and you cut yours 10% since you get to have a vacation at home every day? And cut the fares, cut the fares since you're giving less service. What a shit show this whole thing is.
Innovative since then. So as I mentioned, we're now in our outreach process for the fiscal year 22 service changes. And I don't know if any of you happen to see the Vision 21 open or town hall that we produced where, and this was back in October, I believe it was, where we had a virtual town hall. It was produced, everybody on the town hall, first of all, we recorded a lot of the comments. Doug had a piece where, he welcomed everyone. And then those of us taking answers and questions had kind of the same background with us. We did both an English and a Spanish language town hall, and we posted those up online. They were both on, they were on Facebook Live and on YouTube, and then we posted them, and we saw even additional views.
What are you talking
In doing
about?
so, we were able to reach more people than we typically reach when we do our normal in-person town hall.
I don't look at the Facebook.
And, to some degree, it made us think, gosh, maybe this should be the new normal for us. And so, in fact, we are currently planning for, we have our outreach process has a second round of question and answer with the public. And we are currently planning for a virtual town hall to take place on February 10th as well. We're now looking to do it without spending as much money. So the first time we did it, we, spent some money, really invested it, looked really great. Maybe we can achieve the same thing, but a little more cost efficiently. So we're looking to do it that way. But definitely these virtual town halls seem to be attracting more engagement than the live ones did.
Thank you. That's helpful. Do you know how many people participated in that virtual town hall, and also if you engaged in any culturally specific community-based organizations?
So I don't recall right now off the top of my head, but I will be coming to you in March to present those results to you, and I'll have that information to you then. I can get it to you sooner if you would like. In terms of reaching out to culturally specific organizations, we have not done that this time around. In the past, we have our...
hold on, stop. Okay. Here it is. Here it is. January 28th? Oh, wait, that's transit improvements. Where's the equity he's talking about? I don't bother them over there. I don't bother them anywhere. I don't bother them on Twitter. I don't bother them I leave them alone. Let's see here. It's all cutesy stuff. Is like just like their Twitter. It's all a little cutesy. Look at our cutesy stuff. Okay, let's listen to this while I'm looking through this.
Our contract with community-based organizations, but because of the inability to, and they've really helped us with kind of live outreach, but because of our inability to do in-person live outreach, we haven't yet figured out how to engage them in our process.
Oh, did you hear that?
Thank you. I mean, I just want to respond to that by saying
did you hear that? He hasn't figured out how to do it.
That you know, for many communities of color, the BIPOC, as has been referenced before, transit is their lifeline. Transit is the way that they get to work, to school, to medical appointments, you name it, especially if they're transit dependent. So I just want to make a personal statement as a board member that we should not be pulling back any type of outreach or engagement. In fact, we should be stepping up and doing more.
Right.
And we should be really going to the community.
Yay, Kathy. She's on top of it lately. I have to like her again. I don't see anything here about your equity analysis, Trimet. I'm on December 3rd. So, Tom, are you lying to us, Tom? Are you like a regular Trimet executive, lying like they all do? And Tom, we know you've been there for fucking ever, so you're really part of the club.
Talking to the community-based organizations and those leaders and asking, quite frankly, what is it that our agency can provide to your community, especially in the pandemic, especially with ongoing racism and targeted hate crimes, specifically towards Asians as well. There's been an uptake in Asian hate crime. I don't know if people are aware of that nationally. And in fact, President Biden just signed an order denouncing hate crimes in particular for Asians. So I just want to say that, I'm a little disappointed to hear that we weren't able to pivot or be creative. Or
good for you, Kathy. Good. Let's give her a hand, man. Atta girl, I'm starting to like you again. Keep it up. I'm starting to like you.
Given that we have talent on the team to really respond to community and really be at the forefront of providing safe, equitable transit in this pandemic. So I know everyone is struggling and people are working from home, but again, people whose lives depend on transit, they don't get that luxury. They don't get that choice. So just want to make that comment.
He's got no response.
Director Gonzalez.
Thank you, President Walker.
Here's improvements.
I have a different concern to share, and that has to do with the map of. The two sides of the river, and you see a lot of red lines on the west of the river, and it just indicates something that I want to bring for public record, and that's white people ride buses too, and trains, and we should be able to think about how we're going to bring a transit system that serves not only the needs of transit-dependent riders and not only the needs of the riders we already have, but we have to be cognizant of how we're going to be cultivating riders as we move forward. I'd like to take a deeper look at what is happening west of the river that is making essentially our conclusion be what it is today. I know that we need to have clear focus on serving those folks that have the highest impact up front, and I know that we have to comply with Title VI, and there's very good reasons for all of that. I just want to make sure we emphasize that as we rebuild our transit system, that we're really looking towards a system that's going beyond the basic needs. We need a system that is a good option for mobility for people that are are needing it and are choosing it. We need to bring up our choice riders as well. Thank you.
No, fuck the choice riders,
Comments.
Ozzy.
Director Edwards?
Fuck the choice riders. They're gone, man.
I
The
guess
choice riders are gone. They have options. They don't need the transit. Kathy's right. You should be worrying about the people that need it. Now let's hear what.
I wanted to ask Tom, what outreach efforts, how has that changed with the pandemic?
I don't see anything in here about this.
I think that,
Tom.
well, as far as I know, that all the outreach efforts were done by media anyway. And so what has changed with that since, with the pandemic, or getting to people or getting responses?
I got to poke them back.
Well, previously when we did open houses, we would, rent a space and, or if we could find a free space, we'd get a space and we would actually meet people in person to host the open house. We were not able to do that. Well, first of all, for these changes, we weren't able to do any open houses, but for the FY22 service changes, which we're in the midst of working with the public right now, we've gone to virtual.
Excuse me, this is a kick, man. Pootie. Oh, we have such fun.
Open houses, and in fact, our attendance through the virtual open houses for English and non-English speakers has been way higher than what we had when we would go to a place and expect people to come to meet us. Now people can meet us from the comfort of their own home. So
yeah, but I don't see anything in there about Title VI. Okay, I just went through your Facebook page. Stop lying.
The big innovation. I'm not ready to say that that's the way we're going to go forever, but it definitely makes us rethink how we want to do this and going forward in the future.
My second part of that question, are you able to ascertain what the demographics are of those folks that you're reaching?
We were able to through so we continue to do the online outreach where we reach out to people through email, social media.
You're never happy with anything.
And we surveyed people, and we did get their demographic makeup through that survey. But through the virtual open house, we did not ask people to give us their demographic makeup. Now, presumably somebody who's watching the Spanish language virtual open house is a Spanish speaker. And we had more Spanish speakers view that open house than we've had, in my entire time working at Trimet. So from that standpoint, it was a big success. But otherwise, we do not ask people in the virtual open house to provide their demographic information.
And my last question, do you find it more efficient because of the pandemic, to be able to, acquire information and data through the electronic application?
For general manager, Trimet Deep for general manager.
I think the answer to that would probably be yes. Certainly there's work on our side, but if you look at it from a amount of time that staff puts into it to the number of people we reach, we reach far more people this time. If it's the same amount of staff time, but we reach more people, then it is definitely a more efficient way to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What do we got here?
I might add here is we look to a post-COVID world. I think we need to bridge the best of both. And I think we should never use COVID or these virtual worlds we live in as our only method of connecting with people. Being present and human, and
500 people those, did watch it.
Impromptu comments and those side dialogues while you're at the coffee, grabbing a Danish or something with somebody. There's some great things that happen where some of this the impromptu-ness can get lost in more mechanical environments. So I would strongly suggest, at minimum, we need a hybrid approach to open as many avenues up as possible. So, personal editorial. So,
Director Bauman, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I do. I have a process question for you. So, under our code, the typical process for changes in service is for us to pass ordinances. Of course, before the changes in service occur, this, as we all know, is an emergency, and emergency powers were exercised to make the service changes. How long do those emergency powers stay in place? And before there are future changes, are you anticipating more kind of emergency action based on what we know now, or are we going to go back to our typical process?
Maybe I can comment to that. I think firstly, these things can go on for months and months. What is an emergency? I think no one would have defined what an emergency was by this length. I don't anticipate right now, particularly with the CARES Act 2 coming. I think if we had run out of CARES Act 1 and CARES Act 2, we may have very well been in a significant hitting the financial cliff a lot sooner. That would have been.
It's not true, because at the very worst, you would lose, say you lost all of your, what happened? Oh, I'm still taping. All right, say I lost all of the tax revenue, all of the fare revenue. That's only somewhere between 7 and 17% of the cost of service delivery. Now, we don't know about the payroll tax yet, but you have this huge capital, you have all this other stuff going on over there, and it hasn't been cut at all. The only thing that got cut was because they eliminated 9 positions. That's all because the referendum lost. But I just looked at the Trimet hiring, and did you see it, man? Did you see that? It's like unbelievable. Look at all the goddamn jobs they got over here. I mean, so full of shit. Don't you get tired of being lied to by these people? I mean, it's just lie and lie. It's just like listening to Trump, really. It's just a lie. Let's see. Look at this. Check it out, man. Look what they got here. Analyst operations, analyst business customer experience, bus operator, of course, director bus maintenance, director safety management and environmental, engineer senior mobile device. What's that for? General manager, yeah. HR generalist, HR investigator, diversity and equity partner. What the fuck is that? Manager network communications, manager safety systems, Mo overhead power maintainer. Well, you got to have that. Isn't that a union? Mo signal maintainer, Mo traction substation, Oracle EBS application DBA, where the hell that fucking is. Program administrator, systems engineer. Don't give me this shit.
Been brought to the board as part of without an emergency. I think the adaptations we're in right now would probably be very minimal. I don't anticipate a COVID emergency.
COVID-19!
Probably through the next end of the fiscal year and into probably the end of the calendar year, I would suggest.
Not COVID-19! I agree with Doug. Who said that?
So
that means any anticipated future changes are going to go through the regular course.
That's correct. Yeah, there's decisions that get made. There's sort of, I'll call the regular planning routes that Tom Mills and others have been working on extensively. You see before you, there are daily adjustments, i.e. riots, protests, things of that nature that go on opening up and shutting down systems just to deliver the service on a daily basis. I think we need to anticipate those are absolutely going to continue based on what's in front of us for the moment. The longer term planning route changes, I think we would assume we're back to the normal process to your question.
Yeah, I think it is. Uh-oh, what happened?
That's all I have.
What happened?
All right. I see we're going to lose Ozzy here on this one, but that's okay. I don't see anybody who's raised their hand at this moment. I make the comment that we don't like doing anything retroactively, and this is an emergency and something that is highly unusual. But what the analysis that Carl presented really shows that staff did a pretty good job of looking at the cuts and trying to do them in the most equitable way possible. And we're now having to go back and retroactively justify that work. So again, good work on your part, and hopefully what's coming up in the future will be our normal process, and we won't have to do any more retroactive kind of at work like this. So I think we're at the point now where we've read the ordinance. It is a first reading. There are written comments already received online or through the mail will be or have been shared with the board. I don't think I've seen any comments from anybody on this. And Doug, Shelley, am I right on that?
I have not received any. I have not seen any, unless Shelley has seen something, or Kimberly has.
But since this is a first reading, I'm going to now open the public hearing on ordinance 362. And Jeff, if you're there, is there anybody who's signed up to testify on this item?
No.
Okay. Hear none or
Nobody signed. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke, okay?
If there are none, I'm going to close the public hearing on ordinance 362. Great. And there is no vote today, and the second reading and vote will take place at our board meeting on February 24th, unless we learn something from the comments on the Title VI analysis that makes us want to make some changes. But again, I suspect we may hear from some folks who have had some service reductions, but again, hopefully we can take it into account in the next version of the changes we're going to be making. So again, I'm going to declare victory on this item and look forward to having this coming back to our board at our next business meeting.
If I could just mention, I have one last tack-on slide that I wanted to mention, and I'll be real quick here. So, and this is kind of segues a little bit into from what Director Bauman was saying about future reductions. So we are planning for some very minor reductions in spring. And what this is to trips on bus lines that have what are called trippers. These are trips that are added into the schedule to deal with buses that are over capacity. We took a look at those lines. The trips that we're talking about eliminating, the average maximum load on the trip is 7 customers.
Hold on a minute.
9114, go ahead.
Okay, two things. First of all, do we know if they're going to fill 3035 or what the status will be? He did talk to your partner. He is waiting here for police to arrive.
I can work on a fill for 3035.
Thank you. Second item, on the north end of the Clackamas Town Center parking garage, where the buses lay over, one of the exhaust fans is really screeching fairly loud and squealing now.
Hey, I need you to flip around and head to Clackamas Town Center, please. And I'm going to do extra service. I do not want you to go through Saratoga. Please start the run on Decom and take a right on to 27th and start there, please.
First stop on Decom, then take a right.
Copy, yes, thank you. 9116. 9116. Could you please find... Thank you, 1818.
9113. 9114. Yeah, I'm here with the future operator of 3035. He said he just got off the train here at Clackamas Town Center, and somebody was swinging at it. He's talking to your partner now, so I'll be here with him finding out what's going to be going on.
Okay, is the guy still there?
He said he was on the elevator, so we're looking to see if he's still in the area.
Okay, copy. Thank you. 1818.
9113.
9113. Okay, thank you. And 9113, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm over here at 72 in Harold at the gas station here. And the manager just brought up a baggie of meth. Can you call 911 and see if that's something they can pick up?
Yes, we will do that right now, and I will let you know.
Thank you.
1819.
Extra service 769 arrived at BTC.
Thank you, 769. 1819.
8130. 703.
703, stand by, please. Okay, copy. And next service 703.
Yes, ma'am.
I have you in vehicle 35. Hey, when you take back that operator to Merlot, can you possibly bring out another one to bring back that bus?
9118.
All right, well, I'm looking for something specific. Apparently, a couple of buses just got attacked with a lead pipe. And it was on Saratoga, and we heard that one call saying, "Don't go through Saratoga."
9120.
9120.
Good evening, on the air.
I don't see any.
I don't know. If you want to make contact with 9116, you could. It looks like 2038 is moving over the Burnside Bridge currently. 9116.
Okay, let me just look and see if I can find anything here. Okay. We just listened to these. All bus. No. I don't see anything here. I can't.
At President of Portsmouth.
2039, are you there?
Yeah,
there.
Hey, when you take back that operator to Merlot, can you...
I'm going to get this bus back to North Terminal, and then I'm going to get that back to Merlot, and get a Merlot operator to get to this bus. Am I correct?
That is affirmative.
9123, I copy, and I'll let you know when I get the operator in my car and getting back to Merlot.
Sounds good, thank you. Next service 702. 702, Senate Garage. All right, I have you in vehicle. Well, let's have you go. Thank you. 1818. Okay, thank you. And 1819. Extra service 769 arrived. And next service 703. Station number 8986. All right, let's have you head firstbound alongside the motor. 9118.
Okay, TC Highway East 24th, it's clear of the accident. Thank you.
I don't see anything here.
9114, go ahead.
Okay, two things. First of all, do we know if they're going to fill 3035 or what the status will be? He did talk to your partner. He is waiting here for police to arrive.
I can work on a fill for 3035.
Thank you. Second item, on the north end of the Clackamas Town Center Park.
91.
Oh, God.
Hey, I need you to flip around and head to Clackamas Town Center, please.
I don't know. I can't find anything here about this.
I do not want you to go. 9116. 9116.
Could you please find out if 9908 could give me a call? He's probably busy, is why he didn't answer for me.
Copy.
All right, well,
9908.
I can't find anything there, man. All right, well, back to this.
Customers. And it's 33 trips spread amongst 7 bus lines, so it's a very small number of trips. The wait for someone on a frequent service line would be no longer than 15 minutes, so it'd still be a frequent service line. A couple of the lines are not frequent, so a couple of the waits could be up to 25 minutes. These service changes are so small that they would not require Title VI analysis, but we will continue to track the cumulative changes on these lines. So just a heads up to let you know that these are very small schedule adjustments that we are planning. So
yeah,
want to make sure.
And according to you, since you're the king, it doesn't require an equity because you don't ride the fucking thing, right? You don't care. Well, we don't need to do an equity analysis because I don't ride it. And I hereby proclaim that we don't need it because I'm in charge.
And Tom, when will those be before the board?
Well, because they are so small, this typically falls into the schedule adjustment category that doesn't. Exactly, but this would happen in March of this year.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for that information. Does the board have any comments or questions for Tom on this one? Okay. Hearing none. Thank you. We will now declare victory on this item. All right.
Yeah.
So that is the end of our business meeting. Is there anything
All
that
right, I have to stop now because it's getting late and other things I got to do here. Over and out.